Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my husband. He's been in a few of my videos before. Welcome.
Thank you, good to be here.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm her husband.
Okay. I procured a couple of questions for the two of us to answer because as you saw by the title, today we are going to be talking about what we've learned in marriage thus far. So we've been married for a little bit over 3 months. Do you think we've learned a lot in 3 months of being married together?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll probably get into it. I think we learned a lot in a lot of areas.
The first question is kind of vague. How has it been being married to me?
Oh, it's been great. No, seriously, it has been. I was telling some of our friends this last week when we saw them that it's really awesome being able to share more of your mind, more of your dreams, more of your goals with another person as closely as you can when you're married like this. So that's been really, really amazing. And then plus, learning more about each other and having those one-on-one fun moments, the date moments, the running around the table moments, chasing each other. No, seriously, like the fun moments. So we've had a lot more of those when we were married.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I would say it's been so fun. It's so enjoyable. Honestly, I truly believe that marriage is such a beautiful gift to be given and to receive. And when I was younger, I was just looking forward to marriage literally always. There was never a moment that I didn't have marriage in mind and that I wasn't excited for it. And honestly, I can confidently say that it lived up to every expectation and exceeded them. Marriage is so fun. It really is something special about sharing a life together.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just you. You're not just like alone anymore. Like, you get to be with your favorite person ever. And you get to just do everything that you love together. It's only been 3 months, and I know that's not necessarily a lot of time, but I really do think that
It's been full.
yeah, it's been a full 3 months, Next question. Feel free to spitball whatever comes to your mind first. What have we learned so far?
Okay. That's a great question. I don't think that's vague at all. That's fantastic. Okay. So what have we learned? One of the things most important is learning how to communicate.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Especially when we're upset. Most of the time we're not upset with one another. We're upset with something else. I think this is the truth for everybody that when you have an argument, most of the times it's because the person is upset with something else going on and they're just redirecting their feelings towards somebody that they love or trust, which is really not great, when you think about it like that, but that is the reality some of the time. One of the things is communicating, especially when we're upset. Look, I don't feel good. And even that, I think that the several times that's happened where we were like, hey, I don't really feel good, it's this thing going on today, whatever it was. There's a level of understanding from the other person. When there's things hid and feelings hidden, it's like, why are you getting mad at this thing, why are you upset about this other little thing? But really what's bothering me or bothering you is below the surface, and just bringing it up really helps out. So the communication.
I definitely agree. I think that there's so much wisdom in telling your partner, hey, I'm not feeling good and this is why, and it has nothing to do with you, but I just want to let you know I'm a little bit sensitive right now. I'm a little bit emotional. And it works. It works both ways. I can learn how to be more gentle, or I can just do extra nice things for him, and vice versa. Communication is key. I know that everyone knows that, but I don't think a lot of people really know how to communicate efficiently. I think a lot of people like to hide their emotions. I honestly think that a lot of people don't know how to explain their emotions even years into marriage. I think the first step to sharing your emotions is to one, you have to trust your partner and know that they're not going to ridicule you for those emotions. And two, you yourself have to know that there's nothing to be ashamed about. Even if you are overreacting and if you have a moment where you're emotional or something bothered you, because you never want to take it out on your partner, especially when they didn't do anything wrong, And even if they do something wrong, there's ways to effectively have a disagreement and come to a compromise or a conclusion or a solution without having to dive into a full-blown argument. So I agree. That's definitely something that we've been learning about each other and how to handle each other, especially how to handle each other when we're both annoyed and upset. I feel when you first get married, you're literally just thrown together. I don't really know if we talked about this much in our previous videos together, but it's a stark contrast going from dating to married. It literally is like that. You go from missing each other and not seeing each other every day to literally living with each other in the same exact space. And we don't live in a house, we live in an apartment right now. And it's rather small, so there's there's only so much room. It's not
Yeah.
small, but it's not a house, you know? Like if he needs alone time, he can't go into the other room.
Right.
It's just the bedroom and the living room. So learning how to be adaptable and compromise, and also just,
I was gonna say that.
and also like gentle with yourself and communicating what you need to your partner, but still letting them know like it's nothing personal. That's also something that I've noticed that a lot of relationships do, is that they take their partner's need and make it personal because they don't have that need and get offended, which is me. I used to do that. But I think I've gotten better, right? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to use the word compromise because that's another big thing too that I think I've been learning, especially. There's so much more to learn. And honestly, it's pretty exciting to continue to grow in that, in all of these things and many more things as we move on in a relationship. But compromising about your feelings versus my feelings, what you want versus what I want, especially when I am irritated or annoyed or vice versa. And one thing is sharing it, like we said before, but then also being like, okay, it's time to, get over it and put it out of my head so that I'm not projecting my feelings and emotions on this person. It's not easy stuff, but I mean, this is healthy. It's very healthy to try to think of yourself less. Is what
for sure.
she's been teaching me. Not thinking of less of yourself, but thinking more of yourself, but thinking less of yourself.
Yeah.
Like thinking of yourself less is what
exactly. And if you guys still don't get it, because I understand how the wording can be tricky, literally it means like the amount of times you think about yourself a day, reduce it by 99%. It's something that the Lord was teaching me, and then I said it to him because
I need it. I need it in specific areas. I know this is kind of getting into more like mental health and
but it has to do with marriage.
It is.
All of these
It's
things
relational.
come out in marriage.
You're right.
Yeah. Because you can't hide anymore.
Right. That's big too. You can't hide your stuff from your partner. You got
all your dirty laundry is out to air, and they sniff all of it. Like,
I think it's been good in that we're both understanding one another. We're learning more about each other, thinking the best of one another, and saying you could be better. You could reach the next step.
You could be anything.
You could be.
You could do anything.
You could be anybody.
That's from Good Mythical Morning, guys. In case you didn't know.
Shout out to you guys. Because in the area of reaching out to people and ministry, and we both believe that Jesus wants to reach out to people, and when it comes to that area, I think of myself a lot, which sounds weird, but it's because I'm putting pressure on myself to do certain things, and when I don't do them, I kind of get down on myself, and that's thinking of yourself too much.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's freeing in that you could just let those thoughts go. You don't have to think about yourself in that way. So that's one area, but that's the area I needed it. But people need it in a lot of areas.
Yeah, I think there's multiple facets to that statement, thinking of yourself less. For example, there was a book, it's called The Freedom of Self-Forgetfulness by Tim Keller. I've talked about it, I think, on this channel before. Here's a picture of it. I highly recommend that everyone reads it. It's 44 pages long. And essentially what it talks about is that Jesus never thought of himself. You look throughout all the Bible, all the Gospels, all the scriptures, his mind is always on the Father or other people. I can hear people saying, no, that's impossible. It's not impossible because Jesus did it. If Jesus did it and he was fully human, that means that he equips us to be able to do the same exact things he did to the fullest extent. It's going to take a lot of practice, and it's going to take a lot of surrendering your own thoughts and opinions and your own logic to the Lord and being like, you know what, maybe there's something to this. Maybe my mental health will get better if I stop thinking about myself so much. Because that's what happened to me. The less I think about myself and the more I think about others and encourage others and uplift others, I am exponentially happier. And I feel all the more blessed. I feel all the joy. I feel the love of the Lord. And when I think about myself, I feel like that's when I get a little bit anxious or I get a little bit whatever, because I'm like, oh, how is this going to affect me? What do I feel about this? What do I want? Learning how to love other people in that way. Like, for example, if he does something that bothers me, I don't have to be like, you're wrong. Why did you do that? That made me upset. Instead, I could be like, okay, why would he do that? What was his thought process? It's not necessarily wrong. For example, he loads the dishwasher completely but never actually turns it on. maybe there's a thought process behind it.
And there was.
Exactly.
The thought process was that we don't have enough dishes in the dishwasher to wash them. We need to put more, and then you get a bigger load for the price of one.
There's a half load option. But that's besides the point. Bottom line is that it's okay, and not everything deserves to have an argument. And also, your feelings don't always have to be addressed. Because sometimes, your feelings lie to you quite often. And I found that the more that I think of myself less, the more I realize there's so many other perspectives. There's so many reasons that I don't know that are floating around, and none of them have to do with me. I'm gonna stop being offended by things that honestly were not directed to offend me, and I'm gonna start receiving the blessings and giving the blessings. By thinking of myself less, I get to think of him more, and I get to be more compassionate, and I get to be more thoughtful, and I get to love him better. And in response, he loves me better because I'm loving him well.
Yeah, I like to go off of that. I like the stories in Song of Songs, which is a Bible book. The two characters that are in it, it's basically a love poetry. It's a poem. It's a romantic poem. And so these two people transition through their relationship. And one of the things that strikes out is that the woman in the poem says several times, "This is my love," and he loves me. You can notice that as the chapters go on, she says it, I think, 3 times throughout the book. And the last time she says it, she says, "I am my love's and his love is towards me." Well, the reason why it sticks out is because it goes along with what you're saying. She says that towards the end of the chapter, which their relationship has grown because she realizes how much he loves her, and that deepens their relationship together.
I have something to add to go off what you were saying. Something I want to point out is that we both receive love from the Lord first. So the Bible verse that says we love because he loved us first, that is our relationship. I don't expect God from him because he cannot give that to me, and he does not expect God from me because I cannot give that to him. And subconsciously, that's what a lot of married couples, dating couples do. They want the absolute world from their spouses because they don't know all that God can give them. I know that God loves me, he knows that God loves him. So because of that, we can love each other better because we're not having these unrealistic expectations of perfection from each other, because we know each other and God reveals us to each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like you're giving love to somebody based on the love you're experiencing from the Lord.
Yeah.
It's not something generated or something that needs to be expected from the other person, but that comes from the source, that's not you. Which is, so wonderful when it comes to conflict resolution or something along those lines, when we might be unhappy with one another and, still growing in that area. When it's time to make up, we could both put aside our feelings and all that stuff and just from a place of love that we've received.
Question number 3. What has been difficult about marriage in these past 3 months?
Really, conflict resolution. I just said it, but
we have very different, I guess you could say, argumentative styles.
I actually want to hear it from you because I wasn't even going to make that point.
What I thought you meant by conflict resolution is that I like to talk things out in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And just get over it in the moment. But for him, he needs time to be by himself, to relax, and then he usually gets over it without me talking anything out and getting over it. Like, I'm waiting for him to talk it out, but he gets over it and then he moves on, and I'm still here like, when are we gonna talk it out? That's something that we've had to compromise on because
Definitely.
I have to let things out verbally. But like, I don't understand him when he just gets over it on his own. I don't work like that. Like, my brain can't comprehend not talking it out.
Yeah, I think we've had to have conversations and grow on this, and there's more compromise that needs to be had in that area, I think. But it's really just 2 different ways of
dealing with emotions.
Yeah, dealing with emotions, dealing with differences, and I think that there's truth in both. There can be compromise in that. I also do like to talk things out, and I think Natasha knows that. It's just that I like to talk things out after we both have a clear head and kind of forgotten or let things go. But Natasha likes to get it out in the open right away.
But I think we have come to a compromise where if we get upset at each other for something, he takes his time, I let him take his time, and then we talk about it after he takes his time, and then we just let it go. What has been easy in the marriage?
The conflict, no, I'm kidding.
What's up, you guys? So we decided to make this video into 2 parts because it just would have been one really long video. So stay tuned for next week for the second part of what we learned in marriage so far. Thank you guys so much for watching this portion of the video. We hope you stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2. And we hope you guys have a great day. God bless you guys and peace.